Thank you for taking the time to join us to learn about the Michigan Indigent Defense Commission's recently revised Unexpended Balance form. My name is Marla McCowan. I'm the MIDC's Director of Training, Outreach, and Support. And joining us for this presentation is the MIDC's Grant Manager, Rebecca Mack. Be sure to visit our website and review all of the information related to reporting about your compliance plans at michiganidc.gov. We have a tab dedicated to grant reporting materials. When you land on our website, in the upper right-hand corner, you can navigate to our grants page. The collection of materials includes a new grant manual published by our commission this summer and covers all aspects of compliance planning and reporting. For the fourth quarter of this fiscal year, all systems are required to submit a program report, a financial status report, a list of attorneys providing service in the system, and their unexpended balance in the fund dedicated to indigent defense spending. This webinar will focus solely on the unexpended balance reporting form, which has been revised recently and is available on our website on the grants page. Also available on our grants page is a link to a comprehensive hour-long webinar recorded last fall, which answers the most frequently asked questions about fourth quarter reporting and transitioning into the next fiscal year. You can watch it at your convenience at this link. I'm going to turn this over now to Rebecca to walk you through the unexpended balance reporting form. Rebecca.
Thank you, Marla. Good day, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. We've updated this form a little bit related to some actions by our commission, looking at some revenue items as well as some data elements. And so we're hoping to give you just a good overview of what we need from you to complete this form. This is critical information to the MIDC as well as you related to the funds that were advanced by the MIDC per our contract language, along with your unexpended balance for fiscal year 20, which will be a source of funding for your approved compliance plan and cost analysis going forward into the new grant year, fiscal year 21. If you've been approved by the MIDC at this point, as of today, the 19th of October, you have received from us a copy of your contract along with the compliance plan, the approved cost analysis, and other ancillary documents related to the contract. That contract identifies that we've changed slightly in terms of how we're dealing with the unexpended balance through continuing conversations with our executive branch agency, LARA. We're able to move forward with that contract this much sooner this year, as the unexpended balance does not appear on the face of the contract, but is part of the funding going forward into 21. So we didn't need to get that number to be able to populate your contract and issue it. The difference this year related to that unexpended balance is that we needed to get the certification from you, populate the face of that contract, and then whatever cash on hand related to this balance that resides in your restricted fund 260 or whatever number you're able to populate that within your chart of accounts, that was deducted from your first and maybe subsequent advancements from this contract based on how much money you were carrying forward. Per the new contract rules related to this contract that will be executed for grant year fiscal year 21, we will be advancing 50% of the total state funds that you need, and any unexpended balance that will be certified at the close of the month of October, when this report is due statutorily October 31st. That balance that you have on hand that you're certifying will impact not the first payment, but the two the second, or potentially the second and the third payments that we will be advancing during this contract year. So dive into some of the detail related to the form. We need to know who you are, what system that you're reporting for, what funding units are in the system, along with the grant year and the grant number. And important would be who you are completing the form and your position within the county, city, township, village, or the system. On the left side of the form, we're asking you to look at the revenue aspects of your operations for fiscal year 20. The first item listed is your certified local share. And the certified local share was the baseline local share that you calculated in our first year of funding, FY19, and it was indexed for 2.2%. So, and it's just validating that you've put this local share funding into the mix, into the 260 fund, and we're just between the reporting here for you and for us, validating what that number is. It also appears on the face of your FY20 contract. Also on the face of your FY20 contract is your unexpended funds balance that you carried forward from the previous grant year that you had certified that was unexpended in that year. The additional sources of revenue listed here are the advancements that the MIDC made to you, your system, pardon me, within the FY20 grant year. The first advancement was made within a few weeks of execution of the contract. As you know, we had to wait to execute the contracts last year to get that unexpended balance from FY19. So that payment was received whenever that execution was made, whether it was November, December, January. In some cases, it was later than that. So those three payments, and they all should be recorded into the 260 fund as well. And then additional revenue that is part of the funding for your system operations. If you had interest that you earned on those advancements or the unexpended funds that were on deposit with your system, you would record that here. If you have any other local contributions over and above local share that are a part of the grant contract, they're reported here. And as remarked about in our grant manual, as Marla had made mention earlier in the presentation, we have an item on this list related to Department of Corrections reimbursements for prisoner cases that your system may handle as a result of having a prison within your community or your jurisdiction. If your system receives prison reimbursements, according to our grant manual, they're treated as program income and reported here as well. The right side of the form looks at the expenditures for this grant period that we're identifying according to the same schedule and reporting periods for the FSRs, the financial status reports that you submit quarterly to the MIDC. All 4 quarters are listed. We are looking for these to match up to the FSRs that you've sent to the MIDC. If they don't match up, you need to let us know what the variance is from what we have, what you've submitted to us versus what you're reporting on this form. So we get to the total grant expenditures for this period. So the grant expenditures and the revenues listed will get you to your unexpended balance. 2 items that we've added to the form for this year are data collection items that are very relevant to you along with the MIDC as informational items that will help you with decision making in the coming grant year. If you have a nonprofit vendor model that you choose to meet the standards within your jurisdiction, we're looking for you to report here to confer with this vendor that you're advancing funds along with the contract period and looking at what their balance is for cash on hand at the close of the grant period. This helps you with future planning. It helps us with looking at your deep dive into the review of your vendor relationship and expenditure reporting. So that's a new item on the unexpended balance for this year, for this and going forward. The other item that we've added this year looks at the assessments and collections specifically that have been made to our clients related to paying for indigent defense representation. The court may assess an amount per statute, and then within the year is collecting against these assessments. We are looking for you to confer with the funding unit or the courts within your system to be able to report on what was collected within this grant year from the clients for indigent defense, whether those clients have been deemed partially indigent or fully indigent, it would be reporting of full collections that have been made within this grant year related to clients' payments for attorney costs. So at the bottom part of the form, we're going to get to this balance. The balance being what you're certifying as the unexpended state grant funds moving forward. This is not inclusive of local share. So there's a statement here that identifies that if you've spent less than your local share, the only amount that's rolling forward for the next grant year related to this unexpended balance are those items listed in the revenue section, devoid of local share. So the advancements by the state, along with any interest that you earned on those advancements, unexpended balance, program revenue related to DOC reimbursements, other revenue. So if you are in a situation that you did spend less than your local share, any of your local share that you did not spend does not roll forward. If you are in a situation that you have spent more than all of your revenue sources per statute and per conversations with your regional, along with the other MIDC staff you may have contact with, you will know that you are able to recoup those funds in a future year if you go over spending. So I encourage you to please talk to your regional if you get to a point where the unexpended balance is negative and you're concerned about how to report that and going forward. We're asking for your certification of this document. You're attesting to the accuracy of what you've reported here for the expenditures, your local share, and the other sources of funding, and a way to contact you for questions. And at the bottom of this form, we're identifying that it needs to be reported to our LARA MIDC info email address. And along with that, the 260 fund that you are operating entirely, the accounting operations of the indigent defense system locally, that needs to be appended to the reporting for this. And again, if that fund that you are accounting for all of the expenses related to this grant is in some level of variance from what you're reporting here, please attach a separate document that explains what the variances are.
The financial status report, a budget adjustment request if necessary, and the unexpended balance form should be sent to lara-midc-info@michigan.gov no later than October 31st, 2020. As always, please copy your regional manager on any messages sent to the main office. This year has been extraordinary, and we know that completing these documents by October 31st will be difficult for many systems. Unfortunately, we are not able to extend either the contractual terms or statutory requirements for the reporting due by October 31st. If you think that meeting this deadline will be difficult, please reach out to your regional manager. Communication is key. We will relay efforts to finalize the reporting to the Commission, and as long as you're staying in touch, we will work very hard to ensure that there is no interruption of funding heading into fiscal year 21. Our contact information is on this page. If you don't know who your regional manager is, you are welcome to call me anytime and I will put you in touch with the correct person. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this tutorial, and good luck with your final reports.
Yeah.